From the glitz and glamour of Las Vegas, last time out for the 1-Up Superstar Series, we head now to the United Kingdom for the first time since 2020 for 1-Up's return to England. And we have brought to you a great racing venue here today, the home of British motorsport, Silverstone, where for many, many years racers have put on a great show for the British fans, and now it's the 1-Up Superstar Series turn to do the exact same. And alongside me to bring you the action for this historic race today is James Ellison once again. There's a lot of things to look forward to in this race. 1-Up's return to England, you gotta love that. The first standing start race in Superstar history, you gotta love that as well. And a new circuit for the drivers to try and manage, a 3.1 mile layout with high speed corners, low speed corners, plenty of straights for racing action. What's not to love about this one?
It's gonna be a lot of fun to watch these racers go around this track and see what they can do with these stock cars, because it's a very historic and wonderful venue, and as a big thanks to our British friends for letting us come over here and have some fun with their track.
Absolutely, and we've got a big show in store for you today. 42 drivers getting set to get underway here at Silverstone, and we can now bring you the starting lineup for this 24-lap race around Silverstone. Mark Davey, the road course expert, puts his Honda on pole position for today's race. He'll start on the racing line on the outside of the track with Jeffrey Finguy to his inside. Roberto Crown Jr., Jake McMillan, Emma Kruger complete the top five. Bunch of road racing talent there. And we've got some drivers making their first starts in a while here. Ryan Caggiano makes his first start since, I believe, Coda. He lines up 11th. Cale Tescar Jr. making his first start since, I believe, it was also at Coda. He lines up deeper in the field, but I'm sure he'll be able to make his way up to the front. But my big concern for the start of this race, chaos on the opening lap, because we've seen that happen here at Silverstone before. We've got a lot of high-speed corners where the potential for trouble is always there, especially going into turn one at Copse on the opening lap.
Absolutely. I am expecting there to be a scramble for every position that you can get at the very start of this race, just like we saw at Coda with all three series. It's gonna be real interesting to see how this plays out, but it's gonna be a lot of fun for some. We'll see how it plays out.
So with that being said, a two-stop race on the cards here at Silverstone. We are ready to bring you the action for 1-Up Superstar Series Return to England, and it's going to come at you live in just a short while. Stay tuned for the lights. A historic day at Silverstone, waiting for the lights and the flag. It's out. We're underway at Silverstone, and they're already four wide off the line. Crown and McMillan split the front row. McMillan dives to the inside. For the lead. Crown goes wide at Copse. He runs way wide. He's going to have to rejoin through the grass as we've got plenty of side-by-side action. And we got a crash in the back. J.D. Martin, Zachary Fitzwater for a wild ride through going towards Maggots and back. It's a huge crash to get this race started.
That is definitely not what you want to see. Duke Anzac, Miles Mashburn, and of course Fitzy. He was our guy. We were looking for the possibility of something good from here with it being road race, but yeah, well, this and Denoto, JD Martin, number of potential good runs gone bad already.
Meanwhile, McMillan and Finguy head towards the Vale chicane with McMillan in the lead. He started fourth in this race, but he got a good jump through Copse, and he got the lead. Now as we head down towards Abbey on this short straight here at Silverstone, braking hard for Abbey right here. McMillan with the lead. He was expecting a good day today after his strong performances on the road courses in years past, as we've got a lot of cars with damage at the back, including those of Zachary Fitzwater and Samit Oskin, who are already out of this race.
Yeah, it's a horrible thing to deal with right off the get-go. We saw chaos at Coda as well off the first turn, and Well, that's the nature of it sometimes, and there's a lot of people who hate that I have said that, but it's a fact.
Heading through Woodcote now to complete the first lap. It is McMillan ahead of Fingay by a margin of 0.8 of a second. You can see all the dust and debris scattered everywhere from the crash site. Looks like it's been cleared away though. We can continue racing. McMillan heading through Maggots and Beckett's. This is one of the best sequence of corners on the schedule. A sweeping left, right, left again, and then right again down towards the hangar straight.
Yeah, this is what you want to see now. It's what you want to see from the get-go, but now that the dust has pretty much settled from the early issues, we can focus on seeing if McMillan can stretch this lead out or not. Looking at the way the top 10 is now, got a lot of familiar faces in there, but couldn't help but look at P5 there. You got Rasha Mahindra started 8th, moved up 3 spots already, and through all of that already.
Good run from the Motor Dash Racing rookie. As Roberto Crown Jr., he went wide at Copse on the opening corner. He fell from 3rd to 8th on the racetrack, but he's still in the top 10. Ryan Caggiano just outside the top 10, currently running 14th ahead of Zachary DeLello. Bobo Jones ahead of Patrick Smith in the Red Bull colors this week. They are side by side heading towards Peoria. As we look further back through the field, Chrissy Spletzer with damage. Brandon Beal making his first start of the season in that 37 car. He managed to snake his way through the trouble. He started 40th. He's already up in the top 25.
And then you talked about him already, Cale Tescar Jr. Is one of the many drivers that teams in general that have struggled to make races off and on throughout the early going of this season, but here he is, surviving the early issues and able to make something happen right now.
As you see, Liam Nolan rejoin the race, a lap off the pace in 38th place as he almost collides with AJ Jones heading into Maggots and Beckett's. That's one thing you got to worry about here is the pit exit blends you straight in the racing line. So you got to be extra careful on the pit exit. Got to make sure you don't have anyone you're going to collide with, as it looks like Nolan's still a little off the pace as Bolton, Runkel, and Spletzer all try and get past.
Yeah, try. Whether they succeed or not depends, and right now, here they go. They're starting to get by, but he's just kind of a rolling chicane at this point.
Through Stowe, and it looks like they're all going to make it through without any further contact, but McMillan now leads on lap 3 now, on the way down to Abbey. And this is a great run for Jake McMillan, and he needs it. He entered this race 25th in the points. He needs a strong day to boost himself into contention. He's looking for his first win of the season, for his team's first win in their history in the Superstar Series. And so far, putting on a great show ahead of Jeffrey Fingay now. But the gap did close on lap 2.
Yeah, just a little bit. And that means that Fingay's got a good machine. I think there's quite a few good cars here right now. It's just there's some top 10 is here right now. It's about 5.5 seconds from first to 10th. That I feel like pit strategy, as we talked about the pit stops that'll happen during this race, they could play a factor in.
Yeah, the window for fuel and tires is anywhere from 9 to 11 laps, so we should expect 2 stops to be the norm here for the drivers in this race. A few of them have already had the pit for damage repair as the leaders make their way through Beckett's now. Mark Davey started on pole. He fell back to 3rd on the opening lap, but he's still holding down a solid 3rd place ahead of Lane Sanders as Fingay closed the gap even further on that lap. It's down to just 3.5 tenths as they brake hard for Stowe.
Yeah, good braking zone here. You don't want to wheel hop here. You don't want to mess up. You don't want to have your brakes fail on any of these turns.
Like Jeffrey Fingay just went wide at the Vale chicane. That opened the door for Mark Davey, but Fingay held his line and pushed the 97 a little wide. That's going to allow him to keep the place for now as they head towards Abbey once again.
Yeah, Fingay going wide there. It cost him some in the pursuit of the 21 McMillan, but He's got plenty of time north-south plus pitch strategy that could play in his favor and could very well play in favor of quite a few, as we see the 42 still hanging on the pit.
And we can report now 4 cars out of this race as a result of that lap 1 chaos. Sam Oskins, Sam Donotto, Miles Mashburn, and Zachary Fitzwater all out of the race before it really had a chance to get started on the opening few corners. But we still got several good cars up at the front in contention for the win here at Silverstone. We're only now entering lap number 5, but there's still a lot of time for this to happen, as AJ Jones is now parked on pit road with a little bit of work to do.
We're going to find out at the end, after the race is over, we'll get a chance to look at the replays, but until then, it's going to be a matter of mystery as to what's going on here. Mechanical, or is it an attempted strategy? If attempted strategy, it's a little early, but
it's not.
Of course,
that's 2 Team Duke cars with issues now in the pit lane. Oh, and Cale Teskar Jr. with damage in the 0. He's in limp home mode now as he makes his way through Luffield and Brooklands now. Now he gets to Luffield as William Brock gets by him on the inside. Cale Teskar Jr. had a good start to this race, but now he has to peel off for pit road for some damage repair of his own.
Yeah, that was a little bit risky there, cutting right in front of Brock, but it worked out, and at least as far as him being able to get here, and well, he's not retiring for the race, so he'll at least be able to continue.
That is good news, at least, for the driver of the 0. As Duke Anzac rejoins the racetrack, he'll be well off the pace. AJ Jones has already gone a lap down. Teskar, I expect, will fall a lap down as well, considering the pace that McMillan is on at the front of this field. He's putting a good distance between himself and Jeffrey Finguy as they head through Brooklands now before braking hard for the long right-hander at Luffield. This is a good run for McMillan, but he needs to keep that 92 behind him, especially through the high-speed sections.
Yeah, and as we come to complete lap 5, the gap was 6 seconds from 1st to 10th, but let's see what it is here as the intervals start coming in. And it hasn't grown by much, but still quite the stretch between 1st and 10th.
Yeah, any lead for McMillan is a good lead to have because of how limited the overtaking opportunities are here. They're really restricted to the heavy braking zones and, of course, cops on the opening lap, where McMillan made those 3 passes to get the lead of the race. Here is Mark Davey now running 3rd. He has a wealth of road racing experience underneath him. He's won so many races like this before, and he's going to need a little strategy help and a little bit of good luck to get this one here today, considering how fast McMillan and Finguy are ahead of him, as Finguy again goes wide at the Vale chicane.
See, the very time Finguy gains something on that 21, he overdoes it just a little bit in one of these corners, and that causes him to have to gather back up and try again.
But so far, he's able to keep a good margin between himself and McMillan, so I would not count the 92 out just yet. He's just got to figure out the Vale chicane a little better. But McMillan now braking hard at Brooklands, trying to make his way. Now he makes his way into Brooklands. This Silverstone circuit has provided some great racing over the years, and the Superstar Series, so far, so good for them. It was a bit of chaos on the opening corner, but we're making up for it here with some great racing, through some great corners here, as McMillan heads through Woodcote to complete lap number 6, and his margin is now 3/4 of a second between himself and the 92 of Finguy. As we look a little further back through the field, Keon Daly just outside the top 10 while his teammate leads. He runs 11th. Echo Evans-Ross, a strong run for her on the road course. She currently runs in the 12th position, just ahead of 2-time champion Christian Vargas, and Zachary DeLello, another great run for that rookie in the 08 machine. In 14th, Ryan Caggiano slipped a little bit in this race. He's fallen from his starting spot of 11th down to 15th in this race, but that's still a good run for a team only making their 3rd start of 2024.
Yeah, that is a good deal, and he had a pretty good qualifying effort. Not doing too bad, like you said, he didn't lose too much from his starting position to where he's running right now, but I'd say he's definitely going to be proud of this effort if he can hang on for even just a top 15.
Looking a little further back now, Julio Caesar. We expected maybe a little more from the 00 this week, but he's still holding his own just inside the top 20 currently. Just outside it, we find Jeff Bolton, Daniel Bouchard, Austin Runkle. Brandon Beal's done a great job this race. He's been out of the car for a while. This is his first race of the season after missing the first 5 races. And this is BTB Motorsports. We expected a lot from this team at the start of the season. Hasn't materialized because of the sheer strength of field. But once they've gotten into races, as you see right here, they're doing good work.
Yeah, that's exactly what you look forward to seeing. If you've got a good enough car to be able to contend for good results, but you have trouble making races, it's kind of hard to prove that you have it. But once you're able to make those races, you can see what happens.
As we focus back in on the leaders, McMillan ahead of Finguy and Davies. We make our way through Maggots and Beckett's right now. One of the all-time great corners in all of motorsport right there. We head on to the Hangar Straight. This is the longest straightaway on the lap. So this, in turn, this is going to be the heaviest braking zone of the lap right here, heading down towards Stowe. Let's see if Finguy can make any ground on McMillan. I don't see it happening. No, well, he did gain a little bit of ground on the 21. We'll see if he can get the Vale chicane right this time.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like I said before, he does it again. He's still got to figure that out. And I said it earlier. It seems like every time he gets something on McMillan, it's just not. He's just not able to get the job done in that chicane.
As now we make our way through Abbey, heading towards this chicane, which Finguy is a little better at navigating than the previous one. He heads now down towards Bridge, braking hard for Priori, as McMillan holds the lead of this race by 0.8 of a second. This has been a great run for this 21 team, and they have needed a good run after the struggles they have had so far this season. But he expected to do well here, and he is doing a fantastic job so far.
Oh, absolutely. He is doing what he needs to do as we approach the 1/3 mark of this race. But we have a lot left to do, though. And we got a couple of pit cycles to worry about, but I believe the first one should be up in the next couple of laps.
We'll see who bites first coming into pit road, because the undercut is very powerful here, considering all the high-speed corners that just chew away at the tires. So an undercut here is worth quite a bit. We'll see if it pays off for those that wish to try it. The problem is, if McMillan's the first one in, then it's all for naught anyway, because he's going to get the undercut off on everyone behind him.
Yeah, that's what you gotta wonder. As they run through here, what are these top 10 drivers thinking? Especially the top 5 right now, the ones that are closest to that 21. You got Finguy, Davey, Sanders, and Mahindra. They're all talking to their crew chiefs and getting their pit crews ready, trying to figure out if McMillan pits first, do we follow him, or what do we try to do to see if we can get an advantage? That's the way they got to figure it out right now.
I expect a lot of people to be on similar strategies here, because they've mapped out this race pretty much from the start to the end. They're going to try and go as long as they can on this run to try and make it to about lap 20 on the second stint. But we'll see how it plays out, because here they come through Luffield, the long right-hander before the pit straight. And yes, McMillan's coming in this time, and he's dragging a whole bunch of people with him.
Yeah, that's just a smart thing to do right here. If you're in contention, you can, okay, maybe not everybody in the top 10. Joshua Michael's trying something a little different, but we'll see how well this holds out for him.
Yeah, he's going to get a bonus point, though, for this.
Yeah, he's that bonus point, and he's been having a really good season so far. So, try something new and see if it sticks.
As the majority of the field pits on this lap, with the lone exception seeming to be Joshua Michaels in the 6. But it looks like McMillan is going to be the first one out. We'll see if Davey can get out ahead of him. He cannot. Thin Guy files out in second. But they are quite a ways behind the 6 of Joshua Michaels. Oh, and we got contact on the pit exit between Crown and Fair. That's going to slow those guys down quite a bit for the rest of this race. Oh, and we got more contact. Bobo Jones and Ryan Caggiano.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate thing I tell you that happens sometimes. No matter how wide or narrow some pit roads are, you just, especially when it's crowded like that, you can't always avoid contact.
And the pit exit is so narrow here, you kind of expect it, but that is going to slow down at least the 51 and the 55 for the rest of the race with that kind of damage. I think the 16 is going to be okay because he took to the grass to escape, but that's a tough break for all 4 of those guys.
Yeah. Meanwhile, it's going to be this strategy. Will it end up being a tough break for Joshua Michaels because his turn to pit's coming up, and if he decides to go, and here he comes.
So let's see if this works for Joshua Michaels or not. He stayed out 1 lap longer than everyone else. If he can gain a spot off doing this, maybe 2, that'll be a victory for him in this cycle. But McMillan, you see, he's already making his way through Brooklands, and as Michaels just now pulls into his pit stall, gets full service on the car as we expected. We're looking in the background, though, to see where McMillan is headed. And there he comes through Woodcote. He should easily clear the 6 of Michaels out of the pits. We'll see where the 6 cycles out.
Yeah, one thing for sure, that pit cycle definitely grew McMillan's lead, and Michaels doesn't look like he's really going to lose anything here.
I think he's actually going to get ahead of the 91, who he was behind at the start of this pit cycle. So he did gain 1 spot by staying out an extra lap.
That's a good thing right there for him. He found a little something in hanging out there, but if that's all he's going to gain is a position every pit cycle, well, maybe next time he ought to just pit with everyone else if that's how it goes on the 2nd cycle.
We'll put it this way, if you're going to follow the leader into the pit lane, that's all you're going to do for the rest of the race is follow the leader. As we can now report, AJ Jones never did get back out on the racetrack. He has an engine failure and his day here in the UK. But McMillan now coming through Club down the short straight towards Abbey as Ortiz going to try and fight his way past Joshua Michaels. Michaels trying to get his tires up to temperature. Ortiz already has done that, and he should easily clear to 6.
Yeah, but you got to give Michaels props for trying something. Even though he was the only one of those who had.
Whoa! I hate to interrupt, but we're 3 wide through Club, or through Abbey, I should say. Man, Devin Fair almost caused trouble for his teammate Davidson and the car he owns in DeLello. That I think I'm right about what I was saying earlier. This 51 is not 100% anymore after that contact in the pit lane, and he is really holding up everyone behind him. We'll see if anyone can get him down the pit straight.
Yeah, if that had caused a problem, that would have been an awkward teammate Fair next day.
And for Revolution as well. But here comes Davidson down the inside at Copps on Devin Fair, and he should make this pass stick, and he does. Move the 4 up a place as McMillan, his lead has grown. Like you said, it's almost 3 seconds now.
3 seconds, and now a lot of the players in the top 10 are still the same, pretty much the same positions all the way through 6th. But I see a new player in this picture from some of the scramble off of pit road. Echo Evans Ross talked about it. She was having a good run, and she's had an even better run now, running 10th.
At the expense of Devin Fair, who gets taken by his car, Zachary DeLello, driving it into Stowe. And I expect he's going to lose more and more places as the run continues, because as you can see, he's lost the handle on that 51. Now James Silverfox is going to try and make a run at the 51 as we head through Club.
Yeah, Silverfox, he is carrying the FAR banner, driving that Dodge, so he's going to take advantage of this wound at 51 and try to gain a spot or two and do everything he can to get a better finish.
Yeah, Fair is just sinking like a stone here through the lap because you can see Ben McDonald's getting past. So is Patrick Smith, Ryan Caggiano, Bouchard, Bolton, and Lattimore aren't that far behind either. So Devin Fair started this race so strongly. He entered this race as the championship leader, but I expect his points total to take a hit after this one.
Yeah, Patrick Smith and Caggiano here having a little bit of trouble. Smith by Caggiano's next. Yeah, not sinking rapidly. And you see, somebody got tired of waiting behind Caggiano there.
Yeah, that's Daniel Bouchard in the 73.
Yeah, he's just like, okay, enough's enough. I can't get by the 81. I'm going to go the other way. And they got a spot now. Here comes Bolton. Here comes Lattimore.
And a host of others at this rate.
Yeah, it's going to take Fair a little bit to stop losing spots on a turn-by-turn basis.
But here comes McMillan into the Vale chicane, followed by Finguy, who did gain a tenth of a second on that last lap, and he did navigate the chicane properly that time. The real battle on track right now is the battle for third between Mark Davey and Lane Sanders. The gap between them is only about 7/10 of a second.
7/10 of a second, and Lane's trying to make it grow. He wants to take advantage of getting every position. This, like I've said, this track, we talked about the limited passing opportunity, overtake option. This is what you got to try to do. If Lane can get to him, he's got to set it up just right and wait for just the right opening. And go ahead.
The problem for Lane Sanders is Mark Davey just turned his personal best lap at a race on that last lap, so he has got some speed in that 97. As McMillan crosses the line, we are past halfway here at Silverstone. The gap has shrunk a little bit once again, but it's not going to be enough without some pit strategy in the mix to try and close the gap even further. Finguy is still 2.5 seconds off the lead. He needs something big to happen to the 21, or needs to find a lot more speed in that 92.
Yeah, I think right now at this point, all Finguy and anybody behind him can hope for to have a shot at this. If something to go wrong with that 21 on pit cycle, mechanical, something like that. I don't want to talk too much about that, or I'll end up jinxing McMillan, and he won't be happy with me. But that's really all it is right now. That's the facts. When you're these guys having good cars and you can't get to the 21, that's all you got to hope for.
Look at the 87 though of Lane Sanders shoving the 97 through that corner. These two have had issues in the past on road courses. Flashback to Road 1 last year when Mark Davey put Lane Sanders into the wall there, which ultimately led to Lane's retirement from that race. So Lane wants to make this pass in a hurry, but so far he's not finding any opportunities to make it happen.
And if he keeps having troubles, he might be taken advantage of. Rasha Mahendra back there watching, just trying to see if these two tangle, he can capitalize on gain a couple more spots.
And Emma Kruger's right behind the 42, so she's in the mix for a top 5 finish here at Silverstone. But through Woodcote to complete the lap comes Jake McMillan. We're going to have 10 laps to go right here, and the gap between these two looks like it's going to get a bit bigger. By about 3/100ths of a second, it has gotten a little bit bigger. But these four running in tight formation, heading towards Maggots and Beckett's. This isn't a passing opportunity here in these sweeping corners, but you can set yourself up nicely for a pass at Stowe later on.
And like I said, when you get to a point where you catch somebody, you just got to set it just right and wait for one of those passing points that we've talked about. And if you can make it work, then you can very well find yourself gaining another spot or two. But if you don't make it work, you can find yourself losing a few if there's people right behind you.
Yes, and you can see the top 10 have quite the big gap between themselves and 11th place Keon Daly. Echo Evans Rossland in the final spot in the top 10. Michael's in the 6th. He stayed out an extra lap on the first cycle of pit stops, and he runs wide at the Vale chicane now. But he's pretty much running where he was before the pit cycle started, so no gain, no loss for him. So, might be worth trying later on in the race, see if he can gain a spot again. But this 39 is doing a very strong run here, as we're going to go side by side, potentially, between DeLillo and Davidson into Abbey.
Yeah, potentially is correct, because DeLillo wasn't able to do anything with him, but, you know, this 08 has really been really good. He's not up in the top 10 to really make it look like he's got the car, but every position matters, no matter how good your car is.
As we look now towards Cops, Cale Tescar Jr. making his way through that corner. He is soon about to be lapped by Jake McMillan, and he is about to go a second lap down, actually. And I expect that 21 to catch the 0 pretty quickly, maybe in the next lap or so. The problem for that 0 is he's got no straight line speed anymore after the contact he's had. So I expect on the hangar straight, McMillan to gain a huge amount of time on the Best Buy Chevy.
Yeah, and I honestly expect that the speed difference between the 0 and the 21, depending on where McMillan catches Tescar, it could hinder him a little bit, but I don't expect it to do much in the way of giving him an advantage.
No, because the speed difference is so big between these two. But McMillan making his way through Vale, and he's gaining every corner on the 0, and down this straight heading towards Abbey, this is another opportunity for McMillan to gain a heap of time, and he's going to do so with much swifter on the brakes than the 0, because Tescar's just wrestling that car now for the rest of this race. But if he, like you said, if he catches the 0 at a wrong point on the lap, that could allow the 92 to close in, especially considering he's just gained half a second on the last lap.
Yeah, I didn't even pay attention to that, but you're right. I think guy's starting to close, but you know, we're looming on here in the next several laps, second and final pit cycle of the race. But we saw what happened with McMillan the last time he went down pit road with everybody behind him. But maybe Tescar could play a factor heading into that cycle.
And here they come. This is probably the worst place for McMillan to catch Tescar, through Maggots and Beckett's, because these sweeping left-right sequence. Oh, but he pushes the 0. He's going to try and go the long way around through Maggots and Beckett's. He does get past here. That's impressive for the 21 to make the pass there, but it's a good thing he did that, because now he's got the entire hangar straight to gap himself between them.
Yeah, and it's going to be a while before he's even close to at risk of catching the next bit of lap traffic. So he's definitely got an opportunity here, an advantage, and we're seeing it get a little bit interesting here as the 93 came out of pit road.
Yeah, he is now a lap down, and he's giving Lane Sanders a hard time of it right now, heading into the Vale chicane right here. That forces Sanders to run a little wider than he wanted to, and now he still has to fight the 93, albeit the Brock machine is on fresh tires. This could allow the 70 to gain time on the 87.
Yeah, I just noticed the top 10 is shuffled a bit. Something happened somewhere.
The pit stop cycle, I believe, is what's shuffled him order. I believe that started.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna say he started early. That could give those that bid, like Echo Evans Ross, Mahindra, and a few others that have already pitted. Well, no, Mahindra's still on the track now.
No, he pitted on that previous go round.
And the cycles just be the timing loops are just. I get thrown off by those, especially on the big tracks like this.
But now, here comes Emma Kruger to the outside of Lane Sanders' Woodcote. That's a bold move, but she makes it stick. Kruger gains the place as McMillan and Finguy hit the pits.
And you saw there, Kruger just practically chopped the nose off that 87 to complete the pass. But yeah, the cycle started, and well, with some of those that have pitted early already, we'll have to wait and see if that strategy will give an advantage, especially to some of those that were toward the back of the top 10 into the top 15. Well, and we'll see what McMillan and Finguy can do here. And, of course, no surprise, 21 ahead of the 92.
Yeah, we'll see what the gap is, though, because I think the 92 did gain a lot of time somewhere in that pit cycle. But right now, Mark Davey leads this race. He was your pole sitter. He stayed out an extra lap here. We're going to try and find... We're looking for him on the racetrack, as you see a lot of these guys back here who pitted early. They're going to try and get the jump on those that pitted this lap. Here is the 90... Well, now Sanders under pressure from Joshua Michaels, and here is Mark Davey, who is leading this race by 2.5 seconds over Emma Kruger. But as you know, these guys still have the pit.
Yeah, that's gonna make. We're gonna find out just what this pitch cycle will do, because with so many different varying strategies this time around, as opposed to just about everybody following the leader on the first one, they realized that wasn't doing much, I guess. So this is what we're going to be seeing now.
Yeah, so as Mark Davey heads through Luffield, I would expect him to make the right-hand turn into the pits here, and he does. So, and I would expect the rest of the top 5 to follow him in. Yes, they will. Christian Vargas, I expect, would pit as well. So, this is going to hand the lead, presumably, back to Jake McMillan in the 21. The question is, how big is the gap going to be between himself and Jeffrey Finguy in the 92?
Well, it's not looking quite as big as it was after the last cycle, so maybe Finguy will be able to try something here.
It depends on how quickly he can get those tires up to temperature, how fast he can make that car go. Because now we have 6 laps to go in this race, and as we expected, McMillan and Finguy get ahead of everybody that stayed out an extra lap or so, and McMillan resumes the lead of this race. And how about Mahendra jumping all of the cars ahead of him? He's now up to 3rd.
Yeah, that strategy. I called it. And it looks like Evans Ross is going to gain some spots out of this as well.
And Christian Vargas now exiting the pits. He's going to lose out maybe to Zachary DeLello in the 08. Crown's lost a few spots in the pits, maybe to repair damage. And we're looking further back to see the rest of the field assimilate onto the racetrack. This has been a great race so far, and I would expect it to continue between the 21 and the 92 for the rest of this race.
And now here comes the next challenge, and I think this was the next car that was going to be caught if the pit cycle had started when it did. And that 53, is not going to be as much of a challenge as one Jeffrey Finguy would like, but did hold him up just a little. Oh, actually, no. Hold him up some more here. Now he's finally clearing him.
Yeah, but now Finguy's going to have to get past the 53, and this is a really bad place to try and get past the lap car through these slow speed corners, these long ones at the end of the lap. First through the left-hander at Brooklands, then the right-hander at Luffield. This is not helping Jeffrey Finguy in his bid to get Jake McMillan by the end of this race. We'll see if he's able to get him here, and so far, looks like he's able to. Finguy gets by the 53 as we now have 5 laps to go from Silverstone.
And you see the gap there. 1.4 seconds. Might have been a little narrower had Finguy been able to get by the 53 a little sooner, but he didn't lose as much time as I was thinking he would.
Yeah, so now the chase is on. Can Jeffrey Finguy close 1.4 seconds over 5 laps? He's going to have to work really hard to make it happen, but if there's anyone who can make it happen, it's Jeffrey Finguy, especially at a track type he has won at before.
And now that everything's cycled out, we're seeing the top 10 here. And we talked about it. Rajah Mahendra, this is going to be a career day for him, I think. And he's going to be real happy with this and hang on for these last 5 laps. And things will shuffled a little bit here. You see Lane Sanders is falling back to 7th. You know, we talked about already. Echo Evans Ross gained a couple spots. Michael's hanging on there. Now we got that number 4 car, Dave Davidson, making his first appearance in the top 10 from that cycle.
But now we head towards Abbey, where Finguy tries to close the gap to McMillan. I think he actually is going to close the gap a little bit here. But it's just he's gonna have to put together the best 5 laps of his life to try and catch the 21 and deny Jake McMillan a dominant win here at Silverstone, because Finguy, he's got a fast car. The question is, does he have a faster car than McMillan in these final 4 laps?
And this is gonna be tough for him. And he's gonna be this guy's gonna be determined. He wants that victory. He's been chasing that 21 this entire race, and he does not want to be chasing him when the checkered flag waves. He wants to be ahead of him, which, you know, hard to do when the 21's been that good.
And he gained a tenth of a second on that last lap, but that's not going to be enough. He needs to gain more time, and hopefully he is able to gain that time, because we want to see a big battle for the win between these two. Jeffrey Finguy, of course, looking for his record-breaking 13th career win in the Superstar Series to break out of a tie with Christian Vargas for the most all-time. But he's got a big challenge ahead of him, because Jake McMillan has not put a foot wrong all day today, especially from that turn 1, lap 1 pass to get past 3 cars in the opening corner.
Yeah, that I honestly feel like will be the winning move of the race, as long as McMillan can hold on here. And so far, he's looking like it's going to happen. And honestly, if he could lead every single lap, I mean, he's already secured the points for most laps.
Well, he's not going to lead every lap of this race, because Michaels led two. He led 2 under the pit cycle, and so did Mark Davey. But that he can lead as many as 20 laps today, and that would be a big deal for Jake McMillan, who is chasing down his 7th career win.
And then the only thing that looks like he's going to be missing is we just happen to see it briefly there. Don't think he's going to get fastest lap, but, you know, I don't think that's going to be a big deal for him if he can take home the trophy.
And now we're coming up on 3 laps of racing to go from Silverstone. Let's see what the gap is at the line between McMillan and Finguy's test car hits the pit lane. Finguy gained another 0.2 of a second. He is gaining lap after lap. The question is it going to be enough? Because we only have 3 trips around Silverstone to go, and at this rate, Finguy has to gain about 0.4 a lap if he's going to try and make the pass.
And I don't think Finguy can hope for a lap car, because you looked at it from the angle coming out turn 1. You can see it. The next lap vehicle that he could hope to have help from is way too far ahead, I think, for it to matter in these closing laps.
But as they head through Stowe, Finguy's got to do what Finguy does best: is chase down leading cars and steal wins. He's been able to do that before, and as they head through Vale, this has been Finguy's weak point throughout the entire race. He's able to make it through cleanly this time, and look at the gap closed between these two.
It looks like he really gained some time there. It's just a matter of what McMillan can do with the rest of this lap to try to, you know, limit the damage that was just done. So we'll just have to wait and see, because this could shape up to be the battle that you were talking about.
Coming down towards the end of the lap now. We're coming to 2 laps to go here. Braking hard for this next corner. Jeffrey Finguy, you can see the gap closing between him and McMillan. McMillan, of course, has led 18 laps so far in this race. And wouldn't he just love to win here at Silverstone? He predicted he would have a strong day today. I don't know if he expected to have this strong of a day, but coming to 2 laps to go, he's in a great position to get a win here.
Yeah, if he can hang on for the win, I think it'll be great. I think that if he cannot hold on to win, I think, yeah, he'll be disappointed. But being able to finish second ain't nothing said either. But there's nothing like a victory if you're really dominant like this.
And Finguy took another 0.2 out of his lead. It's now down to 0.8 of a second. But with only 2 laps to go, and with the high-speed section of the lap pretty much over now, this is going to be a monumental effort from Finguy if he's going to be able to make this pass stick as they brake hard now for Stowe.
And meanwhile, you look back there at Rashad Mahindra. I'm pretty sure by now he's accepted that he's just going to be watching these two duke it out if 32 can catch. And, well, still a solid day for him and everybody who's been able to have a good run today. But
yeah, like you said, it would be a career best day for that 42 if he can finish that.
Yeah, and that would definitely be something to be happy about, especially with the next race looming being Talladega after this one.
Oh yes, we've got a lot in store for the Superstar Series heading into Talladega next time out. But right now, it's a high-stakes battle at the front between Jake McMillan and Jeffrey Finguy, who we are coming to the white flag this time, and these two are not giving it up. Heading through Brooklands now, heading now towards Luffield. They're going to face the white flag this time. Can Finguy close the gap in one lap?
He's trying. He has closed it some more, but it's all just a matter of how good he and McMillan both are on this last lap. White flag in the air. This is it, the bell lap.
And he gained another tenth of a second, but that's still not quite enough. He needs to gain more. He's going to have to gain a full second on this final lap if he's going to catch and pass the 21. This is going to be a Herculean effort if he can make this happen. But McMillan has the measure of him so far for Maggots and Beckett's for the final time.
And meanwhile, the rest of the top 10 has pretty much stretched themselves out. There's not much of a hope for any more battles for position other than maybe back there between 5th and 6th, and then maybe 7th and 8th. But right now, the main focus is up here, and doesn't look like the 92 is catching as much as he was before.
And this is his final trip through the Vale Chicane. He gets it nice and neat through here. But Jake McMillan has put on an absolute thriller, an absolute dominant performance here at the British home of motorsport. And this has been a fantastic drive. He's going to have led 20 laps of this race out of the 24 we have contested through Abbey for the final time. This Finguy's closing though, but I don't think it's going to be enough.
Nah, it's going to be. I feel like this is McMillan's race to lose. It's been McMillan's race to lose since he made that bold move on the first turn on the first lap.
That move at Copse could be what wins him this race. Heading through Luffield for the final time. Finguy's closing, but it's not going to be enough. McMillan heads through Woodcote, and on One-Up's return to the United Kingdom, it's going to be Jake McMillan pulling off a big win in front of the Silverstone crowd. Jake McMillan gets it done.
And that's huge. That's really huge for him, for his team, for his sponsor. This dominant performance, and like I said, that move on the opening lap, winning move of the race, and he gets it done. And you got to give Finguy props. He fought hard. He tried. He pursued. He didn't leave anything on the table trying to get to McMillan.
Seventh career win for Jake McMillan. His first with JHM, his own team. The first for Honda in the Superstar Series as well. Mahendra gets a career best third ahead of Mark Davey fourth. Nick Ortiz gained a bunch of spots on the last cycle. He completes the top 5 ahead of Kruger, Sanders, and Michaels 6th through 8th. Echo Evans-Ross brings it home 9th first, her second top 10 in a row. Zayden Davidson completes the top 10 just ahead of Keon Daly in 11th, who gained quite a bit of time in the last few laps, but like Jeffrey Finguy, was just unable to make the momentum stick.
Yeah, maybe so, but Keon can be proud of himself for the effort, because, he's one of many drivers that have had quite a few downs, and he's definitely going to be happy with this, even if he would have preferred a top 10.
But he's going to be happy too, because his teammate is going to be heading to victory lane here and momentarily. So McMillan gets the job done. Like I said, his 7th career win, the first for Honda in the One-Up Superstar Series, and the first for JHM Racing as well. This is going to be a popular win for that group, I'm sure, as we're going to get your replays mainly of the first lap carnage. It took out 4 cars on the opening corner here at Silverstone. We will get you those replays very soon. So this was the start of the race. You can see McMillan gets such a good run off the line. He dives to the inside immediately. Gets past Davey, he gets past Finguy and Roberto Crown Jr., who does run wide at Copse. But I think, Fitzwater hooked the 66 of Martin, and that just touched off a big wreck, and then everybody behind just starts piling in from there.
Yeah, you see it there. Everybody that just gets caught up in there. It's 53. Yeah, that contact from Liam Nolan is what sent Fitzy over.
Absolutely. That is a hard hit for all these guys who are hoping for such good days today, and it all comes undone before it even gets started for Pretty much all of them. Now we're looking at Zachary Fitzwater, and he just hooks the 66 out of Copse, and then turns him back up into traffic. Oh, and then Nolan gets him tipped, and Mashburn sends him up on his roof. A very wild ride for Zachary Fitzwater here at Silverstone. Not what the Australian wanted, for sure.
And it looked like he turned off on the front of the nose of, I think that might have been the 39 of Evans Ross, who just nowhere to go and had no choice but to send him for a slide.
Here's what Sam Odoskin dealt with. As you see the field coming back up onto the track, you see the 75 just didn't have anywhere to go. And yeah, he just gets hit. Oh, he gets hit in the roof by Zachary Fitzwater. That was a big impact for Sam Odoskin, and that is likely going to drop him out of the top 30 in owners' points as a result. Our last look at this is on board the 59 of Zachary Fitzwater. You see his bumper just hooks onto the 66. Not much more he can do from here. He gets sent straight into oncoming traffic, and just a wild ride for the 59 from here on out.
Yeah, I guarantee once he gets over his air sickness or whatever the dizziness, I'm pretty sure he's going to be looking for a clown award to give.
Yeah, that's a tough break, though, for that 59 team, because they really needed a good run. Hopefully they'll get it next time at Talladega. But that is going to do it for us from Silverstone. What a great race we have put on here in England. We can't wait to come back here next year to see these guys do this all over again, and hopefully with a little less accidents at turn 1 this next time we come here. But from James Ellison and from myself as well, we say goodbye from the historic Silverstone circuit. We'll see you again next time out at Talladega Superspeedway for a whole new set of challenges for these guys to face. Congrats to Jake McMillan on the win. That is going to be a lot of good momentum for him heading towards the unpredictable wild card that is Talladega.